I was feeling very vampy and inspired by fall today, and also a picture that I found on Pinterest. So if you want to see how I get this dark smoky eye and dark lip, just keep watching. Since this is such a dark look, I'm starting with the eyes first. And I'm going in with my tried and true sandstone pearl to cancel out any veins and redness on my eyelids to give it a nice base. Then I'm going in with mocha java on a fluffy brush and just blending that all in my crease. This is just going to be a nice transition color to help us between the really dark on our lids up to the light underneath the brow bone. Next, I mixed amethyst and garnet on my palette to create a deep plum color, and I'm using a flat shader brush to apply this all over the lower portion of my lid, and then I'm taking a small fluffy brush and blending it up into my crease, but I want to keep it below the crease. I don't want to take it up too high. The key to making this look pretty and smoky and not like I got punched in the eye is to layer your colors. So don't go all in with a super dark color, but layer it up to get the depth that you want. And then also tons and tons and tons of blending. Make sure you blend it out super, super well. So you'll see me going back and forth between the flat brush and the fluffy brush to add color and then to blend it out and add color again and blend it out again. I debated taking all of this part out, but I really want you to see how much back and forth I'm doing, adding and blending to really get the depth and the smokiness that I want. Next, I'm going back into that mixture of amethyst and garnet on a smaller, more precise brush and just applying that right along my lash line, a little more concentrated, but then I take a small brush to blend it out. This is going to just create a smoky liner effect. This tiny little brush that I'm using is just an Eco Tools brush that I got at Rite Aid, and I seriously love it for a smoked out lash line. Then I'm going back in with that shader brush and a little more product and blending the line between the liner and my lid. And now I'm doing some more blending with my fluffy brush because blending is key to a good smoky eye. And then I just repeat on my other eye. With how quickly our shadowsense sets, you want to just work one eye at a time, especially with these dark colors. They can be a little trickier to blend, so working one eye at a time will help you blend it out better. Now I'm taking Onyx on a little angled eyeliner brush and just drawing a really thin line along my lash line to help darken that up. Next, I'm applying sandstone pearl underneath my brow bone, and I'm just going to use a small fluffy brush to blend that out. This is not only going to help highlight and lift our brow bone, but it's also going to help cover up and lighten any of the dark shadows that might have gotten too high. Now that I've gotten all the dark colors on, I'm ready to go in with my face. I'm just going to start off with half a pump of silk pore and wrinkle minimizer and blend that all in to give us a nice base, and then I take candlelight underneath my eyes to help cancel out the blue tones, and I'm just using a small fluffy brush to blend that out. You can see I'm taking it all underneath my eyes and also using it kind of as a concealer or eraser to take away any of the dark shadow that might have fallen. Next, I'm using my Real Techniques Expert Face Brush to buff in my Make Sense foundation in the shade Cream Beige. This is my favorite brush for foundation right now because it doesn't go streaky at all. It just buffs it in and gives you such a natural finish. You can also build up this foundation, so if you want a little more coverage, you can apply one layer and let it set and then apply a second layer, and this brush is so easy to layer with. Next, I'm taking Sandstone Pearl Shadowsense to highlight underneath my eyes, and I'm using a Real Techniques setting brush to apply that. I love using this for highlighter and concealer because it's a cream to powder finish, so you don't have to set it with anything, and it doesn't crease or budge, so it lasts all day long and you don't have to worry about any of the little creases underneath your eye. It also has our amazing skincare benefits in it, so while you're looking fabulous, that skin underneath your eyes is being treated and it's going to stay nice and healthy and young looking. So it helps combat the aging and crepiness that can form underneath your eyes. And then because the eye look is so dark, I wanted to lighten up underneath my eyes even more. So I'm going in with Snow Shadowsense, just a little bit of it, to add even more brightness underneath my eyes. And I'm just blending that out with the setting brush as well. Then I'm going to take it on my forehead to help balance out the bronzing and the contouring that I'm going to be doing later. And a little bit on my Cupid's bow, which will look really nice once I have my lips on. Then I'm taking Mocha Java Shadow Sense to bronze up my face, and I'm just buffing that in with the Real Techniques Expert Face Brush. This has been my favorite way to bronze my face lately because it's, again, a cream to powder shadow, so it doesn't need to be set, but it's so easy to blend out, and once it does set in place, it doesn't move throughout the day, so I don't have to worry about any fading. Then I'm going in with the tiniest little bit of Garnet Shadow Sense to contour underneath my cheekbones, and I'm just using a small brush from Tarte to buff that out. And then I did use a little bit too much product, so I went back to my buffing brush that I used for bronzer, and I'm just blending that in. And taking any excess down my nose. Then I'm going to go in with Mulberry Shadow Sense and a Real Techniques stippling brush and use that for blush all over my cheekbones. And again, I used a little too much product, so I'm going back in with my buffing brush to buff it all in. Then I'm using Sandstone Pearl Shadow Sense to highlight, and I'm using just the same setting brush that I used underneath my eyes to blend that in. And I'm applying it to my Cupid's bow to give a powderier look, especially with the dark color I'm going to be applying. Then I'm also applying it underneath my brow bone as well and blending that out with just a tiny little pencil brush. Now for the lower lash line, I'm dipping that tiny little smudger brush into the amethyst and garnet mixture that we made and running that underneath my lash line. I want to keep it pretty close to the lash line. I don't want it to get too smoked out, which is why I'm using such a tiny brush. Then I'm taking a fluffier brush and just blending that out. Then I'm taking that fluffy brush and dipping it into the Mocha Java and really buffing that into my lower lash line to really smoke it out. You'll see me applying product to my brushes like this a lot because that way I'm not wasting product by putting it on a palette. I'm getting just the right amount that I need on my brush. Then to really brighten up my inner corners, I'm going to take Snow on a pencil brush and just apply it to the inner corners. Then on a clean pencil brush, I'm going to take a mixture of equal parts Copper Rose Shimmer and Sandstone Pearl Shimmer and apply that just on top of the Snow Shadow Sense to give us some more shimmer on the inner corners. Then to really smoke out this look, I'm going to line my waterline with Onyx Shadowsense. I just take it on a little angled brush and line it all along my waterline. What's so great about our Shadowsense being waterproof is that when you apply it on your waterline, it's not going to run and you're not going to end up with black gunk on the inside corners of your eye. This stuff seriously stays put all day long. I love it. Then to finish off the look, I'm applying black lash sense to my bottom lashes, and I do have eyelash extensions on the top, which is why I never put any mascara on my top lashes. If you haven't tried our mascara yet, it needs to be next on your list. It is seriously the most waterproof mascara I have ever used, but it doesn't crumble or flake, so I don't end up with any little bits underneath my eyes. So for lips, I wanted a really dark berry lip, and I started off with plum thinking I would like it, but it was a little too bright and purple for me in comparison to my eyes. So if you're recreating this look, I would probably skip that step. But then I go in with berry, and I'm doing 2 layers of berry on my lips. Because berry is such a pigmented color, you want to give it plenty of time to dry. Then to finish off, I'm going in with 1 layer of sheer berry to kind of tone down the purple and give it more of a brown tone. And finally, I'm topping it off with my favorite matte gloss.